After it was delivered?
Yes.
So what were the major takeaways?
To be honest, Costa, to be honest with you, there are no takeaways for me. Why? Because the State of the Nation address should actually identify issues that are sticking or that are topical to the lives and livelihoods of our people. So as much as I am concerned, I think what has been delivered by the president is empty, it is void, it is now, it is barren.
You mean he didn't say anything?
Yes, it's the same old rhetoric that we used to hear about. There was no substance, there was no positivity, there was no stimulus to the economy, even to the people of Zimbabwe. It does not inspire any confidence.
Greetings, and more greetings to you, good people. My name is DJ Holly, and welcome to Point 5 Creative Studios. Chitubu che content, chitubu chisingapwe, chitubu chinonwane munhu wese, chitubu chakavhenekwa, chikaongororwa nana mazvikokota kunzi aiwaka. Chitubu ichi chine content iri healthy, content iri clean, content yakachena, yakakodzera kunge chikonsumwa nemunhu akata kunge iwewe. Ndosaka uri panapa muzora nhasi. So if it's your first time here, dzvanya subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any exciting content uploaded. Asi kana wangu wagara uri mugaro wepanapa dango kutenda nekuti sei nekurumidza kubhadhara rent. Thank you very much for supporting Point 5 Creative Studios. Right, hanzi nyaya dzacho kwadza kuenda kwakunakidza because right now takungona vanhu vakukwanisa kungotaura zvavada panguva yavada pasina kuvhunduka, pasina kana kumbotya kuti zvakamira sei. Anditika saka panapa ndine nyaya yandinayo yemashoko ataurwa naHonorable Masikati vachitaura ivo kuti hanzi State of Nation address yakapiwa navamnangagwa yanga isina chinhu. It was empty, full of empty promises, and taneta nazvo togara tichigozvinzwa each and every day. Saka inini maonero angu saHonorable Masikati ndiri kuona kuti aiwaka ingano inyambo ndodzaitaurwa nafanira kuti hanzi inema rasta musati mabhema. Right, mahwani chaiwo handiti sezvamunoziva tinofamba nedingindira rekuti umbowo saka ndichakuratidzai the video mozvionera mega, mozvinzwira mega, musazotaura kuti uya anonyeba kana kuti anowedzerera. Handitika ndisingatambise nguva, rega ndijambire muvhidhiyo muzvionere mega kuti mahwani ayo chaiwo. Handitika but ndisandapinda muvhidhiyo ndikuti kana une business raunaro rauda kushambadzirwa, kana une nyaya yaunayo yauda kuti ndifambire ndibate, namba dzangu ndidzodzi dziri pasi apo. Handitika toita sei tofambira nyaya dzacho. Right, rega tipinde muvhidhiyo tinzwe kuti zviri kufamba sei, zviri kufamba 1-1.
Honorable Masikati, maswera sei?
Maswera sei koma cost.
Ndimika mamuri kone zuro kusona.
Unfortunately, I didn't go as a person, but we were represented there.
You were represented there?
Yes.
How did you follow it then?
I followed it online after it was published or delivered.
After it was delivered?
Yes.
So what were the major takeaways?
To be honest, Costa, to be honest with you, there are no takeaways for me. Why? Because the State of the Nation address should actually identify issues that are sticking or that are topical to the lives and livelihoods of our people. So as much as I am concerned, I think what has been delivered by the president is empty, it is void, it is now, it is barren.
You mean he didn't say anything?
Yes, it's the same old rhetoric that we used to hear about. There was no substance, there was no positivity, there was no stimulus to the economy, even to the people of Zimbabwe. It does not inspire any confidence. Maybe you want me to explain why am I saying so? Yes, definitely, because the issues that are grappling with the people of Zimbabwe were not addressed. Let me give you an example. As it stands right now,
But he talked about the
Yes.
power problems that we are facing.
Yes.
He talked about the Ziggy having been,
Yes.
the exchange
Yes.
rate having been allowed to
float freely.
To float freely. He spoke a lot of things.
Thank you very much.
We are facing hunger as a result of El Nino,
Yes.
and that is the government is on top of the situation,
Right.
and is trying its best to make sure that no one dies of hunger.
Thank you very
So
much.
I think there were actually some nuggets there. There were actually some things that he said.
All right, thank
that
you.
do make a lot of sense.
When you are a president, when you are speaking on the State of Nation address, you don't just highlight the problem that we have. You just have to, your role as the leader of the executive is to ensure that you give tangible solutions, you give confidence to the people to see how are you going to solve the problem. It is common cause that we are over 7.7 million people in Zimbabwe they need support in terms of food. They are food deficient, they need support. It is common cause that we're always aware that the El Nino phenomenon will come upon us. We want to continue talking about the El Nino phenomenon up to this point. What we're supposed to do as a government and as the president was to ensure that we find the mitigation measures for El Nino and to prevent El Nino in the future. So to me, it's just the same old story. Because if I'm hungry, then what? What we really need is tangible solution on the power issues. You've been talking about
people are being given food right now.
where are they given food?
All over the country.
We are talking about urban areas, talking about rural areas. The people who have been receiving food are the same people. In urban areas, no food has been received so far, or what they call the harmonized cash for cereal. Nothing has happened. We are told many people have been, his names have been taken down, but nothing has happened on the ground. So in the rural areas, only the people that have been getting that assistance is the same people that are getting. But the majority of people are not accessing this kind of help, which they really and gravely need under the circumstances.
Let's talk about.
Right, ameno timbotaura panyaya yechikafu iyi kumaraini kwenyu muri kupiwa here chikafu nekuti zviri kutaurwa kunzi hanzi hapana achafa nenzara. But if you remember well, ndine story yandakaita last week yandaitaura kuti pane comment yakataura kuti inini chaiye nezuro ndakatorara nenzara. Saka chikafu chiri kupiwa vanhu ichi vari kuchipirwa kupi? Amen. Pamwe sisi tisingazive, pamwe tisina full information, but imimi munogona kutibatsira mucomment section. Ameno timunoti chine mashoko Honorable Masikati aya vari kutaura pamusoro pe-State of Nation address yakaitwa nani navaMnangagwa nditika. Saka siya comment section, wotaura mafungiro ako, wotaura maonero ako, but according to Honorable Masikati vari kutaura kuti zvese zvaitaurwa zvaizve hapana kana chine musoro kana wani. Taneta nazvo zviri kungoramba zvichingochinjwa mashoko, but ichi inyaya idzodzo dzekuita sei dzekunyepa handitika. Saka rikatinzwe pamberi apo taufa.
But the Zig.
All right.
What do you make of the president's statement?
Yeah, maybe let me just introduce fundamentally a bit about the Zig. The first error or the first lie that this government has made about the issue of Zig is that the Zig is backed by gold and a basket of foreign currency. To me, it's a complete lie. Why? If Zig is backed by foreign currency, it must be easy for me to walk into a bank if I don't trust the Zig itself, or if I'm looking for money to pay petrol, to pay this for diesel, my fuel, need money to pay for passports, I should just enter into a bank account without any hassle to get the US to pay for those services. But that is not happening. So it is true that the Zig is not backed by anything. It is not backed by gold, it is not backed by foreign currency. Because the fundamental feature of a backed currency is that when you are in doubt, when you doubt the currency itself, you should look at the underlying asset, which is gold or foreign currency. And that is not happening. And to me, it's just good as nothing. Secondly, on the presidential, on the issue of SONA, on the 5th of April 2024, when the RBZ governor introduced a new currency, we were told that the new currency will be traded under the willing buyer, willing seller arrangement. The foreign exchange market will be freely floated, and the market force will determine the exchange rate. But no, it's clear that it was a lie, because the president then came and said we are now allowing it to be more flexible, which means it was not flexible in the first place. So I cannot continue to listen to this rhetoric.
Help me understand something.
Yes.
They actually pegged it at 13 points 50.
Yes.
When it was introduced.
Yes, yes.
And then they gave some leeway of some 10%
Okay.
to businesses. And this is why you would go to major retails. When you're buying, you can have a rate of 15 or 14.50 or 14.90. So I don't think initially when it was introduced, it was not just free flowing, because there was that rate being pegged.
Okay, the 10% variation,
Yes.
it was repealed through SI 81, SI 81 through SI 81A. The amendment to the Exchange Control Act repealed that 10%. So business no longer have that latitude to sell their price with a 10% margin. They no longer have that latitude as of now. If they are doing it outside the law.
So they have to use
The former interbank exchange rate.
the former interbank exchange rate,
That is correct.
which is now pegged at 25.
Yes. So you say that when you say that the exchange rate is determined by the buyer willing and seller arrangement, we are saying how many people or who are the, you understand, who are the buyers? The buyers of foreign currencies are obviously these corporates and companies who went to banks and other business to look for forex and say, we need to buy forex and this is my rate. But then who is the seller? That is the problem. Most economic agents don't want to sell their US dollars.
Honorable, in your
Yes.
capacity,
Yes.
Minister of Finance,
That's correct.
what were you going to do
Yes.
if you were in Mtulimure's shoes?
If I was in Minister Mtulimure's shoes, first of all, I would scrap the ZIG.
And what do you do?
I will scrap the ZIG, then allow for the use of the US dollar in the short to medium term. You know what, my brother? It is not the currency that is the solution to our problems. It is the economic fundamentals that must be in place before the currency issues are addressed. What do I mean by economic fundamentals? Every currency strength is determined or is largely influenced by production. We don't have the productive capacity, and once we produce in various areas, agriculture, industry, manufacturing, and many other sectors, and we export competitively, at that point, that's when we're going to say, let's now introduce a local currency. We cannot introduce a local currency without those fundamentals. And those fundamentals cannot take place now. Why, my brother? Because we don't have the infrastructure right now for production. Let me give a simple example. We don't have the important input of electricity. There's a load shedding from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. What does then that affect? How does it translate to the effect on the industry? How does it affect the agriculture sector? How does it affect almost all sectors of our economy? I was expecting the president, when he was delivering his
Some
SONA.
challenges are not only restricted to Zimbabwe. Zambia is also facing power problems.
That is very correct. But what we need to address is the extent to which Zambia is affected, the extent to which South Africa is affected. Are you aware that in Zimbabwe we are importing power from South Africa? We are importing some from Namibia. Why do South Africa and Namibia have access for exportation? It means at some point their power situation is not as bad as ours. I was expecting the president during his SONA delivery to actually give us a solution to the power crisis. To say, as the president, we have entered into an agreement with the so and so to ensure that we are going to have a new power plant, for example, the Batoka hydroelectric power plant in Zambia there. We have agreed that this power plant, which has the capacity of generating 2,800 megawatts, would assist us in this way, this way.
But ipapo tiri ipapo ka ini nangu I don't think kuti vakomana vachiri kufunga nezvazvo kana kutombofunga nyaya yemagetsi nenyaya yemvura kwavari zvatonomawo vanenge vachitongoti itori bhoo yakadaro, because kusaidi kwavo magetsi haaende, akaenda pane backup yegenerator same time, pane masolar, pane chii zvese. Saka ivo kusaidi kwavo handifunge kuti vanotombofunga kuti vanhu havana magetsi. Vanogona kunge vachizviziva havo kuti vanhu havana magetsi, but it's not a priority kuti toda kuti muZimbabwe mese munge makabaka magetsi. Aiwa, hazvina kana basa navo izvozvo. Chavanongoda ndechekuti muvavhotere vaite sei varove mari chete. Aiwa, ndozvinhu zviri kutaurwa kunzi zvaifanira kunge zvakatsanangurwa, zvakabudiswa pachena, zvakaoneswa vanhu kuti inini semukuru wenyika pandiri kutaura, pandiri kufamba ndakadai, ndichagadzisa madambudziko aya neaya. But yango hanzi ngoma ndiyo vanhu ndo zvavari kuchita sei zvavari kuchema nazvo. Rega tipedzise vhidhiyo muzvinzwire mega kuti mukomana anga akatotsamwa.
That is exactly what you expect from the president.
But let's also talk about, because of the ZIG.
Yes.
Minister Professor Mtuli Wakati no civil servants,
Yes.
because they were affected by the devaluation
Yes.
of the currency which happened last week.
Yes.
So we are going to offer them a price. What do you mean? An increment, salary increment.
Okay.
What do you make of that?
First of all, it's not a salary increment because their salaries have been devalued by a deliberate government policy initiative. So when your salaries have been devalued, when you are going, what is important now is to restore civil servants to their original position, is to restore pensioners to their original positions. Because if you assume that a pensioner was getting a payout of, for example, 400 SIG, it's no longer that money has been devalued, or it has been decimated almost twice, or by almost half. What it literally means that the cost of living has gone up, and the purchasing power of that money has been eroded. What then do we do? So the minister should first restore them to their original position. Actually, their salaries must be adjusted by the exact rate of devaluation.
So murikuti chimi murikuti kana vachiti chiata pay rise vari kunyepa.
Haisi pay rise. Tiri kungodzosera vashandi pavanga vari before 27 September pakati padevaluation. Tiri kungodzosera vashandi panzvimbo yavakanga vari totanga tavadzosera tozoita manegotiations yese, and I implore government through the TNF kuti iwise kuti no, hapana vashandi vakadeprivewa nedevaluation yakaita kusa 27 September. Tatisira kuti chokutanga sataenda kumanegotiations eTNF taida kuti vashandi vatenga vadzorerwa pavanga vari before devaluation, then tozotaura zvepay rise.
Right, murungozvinzwira mega kuti panenge pane kachitsotsi kanenge kachiitika handitika. Hanzi munhu kana aitambira $10 before 17 mari mva yazodonha, mari yadonhedzwa kudaro nenyaya yepolisi yehurumende. Zvino izvi munhu uya $10 yaitambira yakwanisa kutenga hupfu haichakwani kutenga hupfu. Saka zvava kuti taakuwedzera mari, takukuwedzera mari, but chavari kuita vakukupa $20, but $20 iyoyo ichange chingotenga hupfu, nekuti hupfu waita $10 ukazokwira, saka iwewe wanga wakutadza kutenga hupfu. Saka wangoshandisirwa mashoko ekunzi takuwedzera mari, but value yemari yako zvayaitenga nezvayaikwanisa kutenga ndozvairungoramba ichitenga, meaning to say kuti unenge wangobatwa kumeso, wangonyengedzwa kunzi wawedzerwa mari, but mari yako yawaitambira yaikwanisa kubhadhara rent nekutenga chikafu. Vayadzikiswa, yadonhedzwa kudaro yanga isingachakwana kubhadhara rent nechikafu. Zvobva wanzi wawedzerwa mari iyayi. Iyo wakutofunga kuti wawedzerwa mari, but aiwa wangoiswa paposition yaunga ungori kudhara, but chachinja chete mafigures chete. Ndozviri kutaurwa nani naHonorable Masikati apo. Amenoti munoti chii nenyaya iyi kuti hanzi mashoko aitaurwa nemukuru wenyika anga asina kuti tsvikiti, anga asina huremu, anga asina udzamu. Mawani, siya comment section, wotaura mafungiro ako, wotaura maonero ako, kuti unofunge chii nenyaya iyi, and what needs to be done, kuti tisarambe tichingonyeperwa each and every time. Handitika mazvinzwa kuti ZIG is not backed by anything, harina kana foreign currency kuseri, kana goridhe riri kuseri kwaro. Handitika ndosaka muri kuona riri kudonha iro goridhe richikwira. Handitika so ndonyanga chingofamba naye zvamanje manje. As for me, DJ Holly and the rest of the crew behind the scenes, tiri kuti it's bye for now. Ngatisangane muvidhio rinotevera.